Hi everyone, I hope you're well and welcome to episode 143 of the James Layton Fitness Podcast. So within this specific episode we'll be discussing exactly what supplements I take and why, and what supplements I would suggest you consume. Now first I just want to discuss the importance of how to view supplements. It's really important to know that supplements are not a replacement for the diet. They are exactly how they sound. They're just a supplement to good nutrition. So make sure that you're focusing the majority of your time on making sure you're getting in sufficient protein, you're meeting your calorie requirements, you're consuming lots of fruits and vegetables, and then once you have that foundation in place, then you can start adding supplements on top of that, because it will make a difference, but it must come with the caveat that you're actually consuming good nutrition first. So if you just have your supplements perfectly aligned, however your nutrition is terrible, then that's not going to help you whatsoever. You need to have that nutritional foundation in place first, and then supplements on top of that. There are supplements that have evidence to support their usage, unlike most supplements. And that brings me on to my next point. Throughout my training career, I've been training over 9 years now. I went through a phase, especially at the start of my training career, when I was pretty obsessed with looking up supplements. I personally thought that was the missing ingredient. I thought I'm doing everything right with my nutrition and training, but it's the magic supplement that's holding me back from achieving my fat loss or muscle building goals at that particular time. I couldn't have been so far away from the truth. I tried everything. I tried fat burners. I tried natural testosterone boosters. That's not steroids, by the way. There's these supplements that supposedly boost your natural testosterone levels. I tried all sorts of other things, and all of which didn't help me achieve my goals whatsoever. I was sold on the hype of the supplement. You've probably seen these online or within magazines, supplements that are claiming they're going to help you lose 10 pounds in 2 days and going to help you build 10 pounds of muscle in 2 days as well. All of which are absolutely nonsense. There really is just a handful of supplements that actually have a significant amount of scientific evidence to support their usage, and that's what I'll be discussing within today's podcast. These are the only supplements I take today, and if you've been sold any of these false claims from any of these bogus supplements, then you can stop taking them immediately. Save your money, because pretty much the majority of supplements really are worthless. There's just a handful, which I'll discuss shortly, which actually have any benefit. Okay, the first supplement I want to discuss, and this is what I take personally, is a whey protein supplement. The way I want you to view a whey protein supplement is it's just a cost-effective and convenient protein source. That's the best way to view a whey protein powder. I want you to start using this to help to meet that daily protein target. It can be very difficult to just consume whole food protein sources to meet your daily protein target. We all have busy lives. It's very difficult to have solid meals within every single one of your meals, and therefore by having a whey protein supplement to essentially fill in the gaps, to make sure that you're actually getting in sufficient protein within a fat loss phase or a muscle building phase, is certainly a worthwhile thing, and it's actually relatively cost effective as well. When you look at the amount of money you'll spend per, say, 20 grams of protein when you compare it to, say, chicken, etc., or fish, or some other alternative. It's not to say that I want you to have all of your protein from a protein shake, obviously not, but it can be a tool to have in addition to your whole food protein sources. It doesn't particularly matter whether you have an isolate protein powder or a concentrate. All of the latest protein powders are all pretty good quality, to be honest, unlike what they used to be, say, 3-4 years ago and beyond. But if you really want the best quality protein powder, a whey protein isolate is slightly better in quality, just because there's more protein and less carbohydrates and fats. But I actually personally have a whey protein concentrate, so whatever you prefer, it really doesn't matter. The isolate is slightly more expensive. Another big benefit of a protein powder is because they're low in carbohydrates and fats. If you're short of protein at the end of the day, but you've consumed your carbohydrate and fat target, a whey protein powder is a great tool. It can be used to basically make up the net difference of that protein target which you're short of, without going over your carbohydrates and fats, which can be quite difficult to do with a meat source, for example, or some fishes as well, which can have a little bit more fats in, as opposed to in comparison to a whey protein powder. So that would be my session. Whey protein definitely worthwhile getting, because I'm still yet to work with a client who can actually get sufficient protein from just whole food alone. So it really is worthwhile getting. The next supplement, very simple, a multivitamin. The reason for this is very simple. It's just reassurance that you're getting in all of your micronutrient needs. Obviously, we want to get most of our micronutrient requirements from the diet alone, but by having a multivitamin, it just guarantees that you're actually meeting all your micronutrient requirements. And given the fact that this is a very cheap supplement, there's no reason why you shouldn't invest in getting just a cheap multivitamin. Just has to be a low dose multivitamin, and that will be ideal for most individuals, just to guarantee that you're actually getting in all of those micronutrients. Next supplement is a vitamin D supplement, especially here in the UK due to the lack of sunlight, especially in the winter months when we have shorter days, less sunlight in the mornings and the evenings. Vitamin D deficiency is very common, and therefore if you're living in the UK, I would recommend a vitamin D supplement. I'd recommend consuming 1,000 to 2,000 IUs per day. Again, a very cheap, cost-effective supplement, and in the UK this is certainly worth getting. Next supplement I consume, and I'd suggest you get as well, is a fish oil supplement, especially if you don't consume a huge amount of fatty fish. This can help improve cholesterol, lower blood pressure, improve depression, lower the risk of heart disease, and reduce inflammation, along with multiple other benefits. I'd suggest consuming 2 grams of EPA and DHA per day. Again, this is a very cost-effective supplement. With regards to the evidence is relatively mixed. There's evidence that show no benefit to having fish oil, and there's others that say a marginal benefit. But because it's such a cheap supplement, it's worthwhile consuming. As long as you're consuming a reasonable dose, there's no negative that can come from consuming fish oil. Next supplement is creatine monohydrate. I consume this, is what I recommend to my clients, is creatine monohydrate. This is one of the most researched supplements on the planet, if not the most researched supplement on the planet. This is shown time and time again to improve strength and power. I'd suggest taking 5 grams daily, and it really doesn't matter whether you load creatine or not. Some people say you need to load creatine by having 4 or 5 days of a high dose and then a maintenance dose thereafter. But the reality is your muscle cells will be saturated with creatine at some point, so it really doesn't matter whether you load creatine or not. With regards to timing, it also does not matter. Unlike caffeine, for example, caffeine has an acute impact on the training session, as opposed to creatine monohydrate has an impact over a chronic period of time. So because of that, it does not matter the timing in relation to your training session. Just take 5 grams daily in the morning, evening, before, after training. It really does not matter. And as I mentioned, if you want to load creatine, you can do, but you don't necessarily have to, because your muscle cells will be saturated with creatine at some point. Finally is caffeine. Again, lots of evidence supporting an improvement in sporting performance when consumed prior to training. It doesn't this could be from coffee, this could be from caffeine capsules. It really doesn't matter. I'd suggest consuming 3 to 6 milligrams of caffeine per kilogram of body weight within approximately 30 minutes of your training session. That can help to improve gym performance. So you can have cheap coffee, expensive coffee, caffeine capsules. It really does not matter, but that's certainly worth considering to help improve gym performance. So it can help with regards to your strength, especially within a fat loss phase when you're fatigued mentally and physically. It can be a great pick-me-up to help maintain strength better within the fat loss phase. So hopefully that's been useful. Hopefully you can start applying some of these supplements that you haven't already been consuming, and hopefully it will stop you taking any supplements you're taking now which are worthless. If you're taking a supplement that I haven't mentioned within this podcast, I haven't mentioned it for a reason, because there's no evidence to support its usage. There's one other supplement, beta-alanine, which is growing in popularity, but from the evidence I've seen, it seems like this will have more of a performance benefit if you're doing extended bouts of physical exertion, so not necessarily weight training, which is over a much shorter period of time in terms of the sets. So even better analysis may not be specific for individuals who are doing weight training, more specific for people doing longer bouts of physical exertion. So hopefully this has been useful. If you're still yet to download my free ebook, How to Set Up a Nutrition Plan, if you go to James Layton, Layton fitness.co.uk, you'll see a tab at the top of the page called free ebook, and you can download that immediately. Also, subscribe to the podcast if you haven't already, so you don't miss an episode, as these episodes come out every single week. I'll look forward to speaking to you next week. Thank you very much. Take care.